Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Yoshi's Island. And today, I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I've already recorded the gameplay. As you can see, I'm not really stalling, just standing around while I'm talking, because I do that sometimes. I decided I'm going to try to do some post-commentary, see how it works out. If it doesn't work out, then next time I'll go back to what I usually do, but I have a feeling this might be a little bit better. As you can see right around here, I've kind of figured out what to do with this. I had to use a shell. I had to look that up, but anyway, now that my raging is done from the previous episode, which I apologize for, and I figured out what to do, even though I kind of derp up a little bit later on. But I'm just gonna talk about a couple things. I haven't recorded for a while. I've been, as you guys have heard me say, I've been gone for a while. I was able to upload this past week, but I was on vacation for the past 2 weeks. I wasn't really able to record anything, especially the first week, where I was in a place where we didn't have any, there was no, internet or phone service. I mean, I could have brought my laptop and recorded, but I didn't really want to. It wasn't the point. The point was that I was getting away from that kind of technology sort of thing. So I decided that it would be best that I don't bring my laptop, and I'll just record later on, like this week. I'm hoping I'm going to be able to keep up with recording, because August has become a pretty busy month for me. I had 2 weeks of vacation so far, right in a row. I have band camp these next 2 weeks, which luckily are, usually band camp is an all-day thing, but luckily, it's later at night, and then Saturday most of the day. So, I'll have some time to record. I've also got, I need to practice for band too. Got math work that needs to be done for an AP class. That I think we're going to be tested on that right when, this is the first couple days of school. We're going to have a test, within that time or something like that. I don't know. I got SAT work to do, which I probably should be doing right now, but I'm not, so oh well. And yeah, so yeah, August is a really busy month for me. At least this year it is. Usually it's not. But anyway, I kind of wanted to talk more about my experience on my vacation, the first week where I was at a farmhouse. Let me get my, there, I got a list. I'm prepared right now. My phone's going off too, and I don't think it's anything important. It kind of is important, but I'm not gonna answer it right now. Okay, yeah, it's not that important. So this was where I stayed over at my friend's house the night before we left, because we had to leave in the morning at around 6 a.m. to get to the house at a reasonable time, because it was about 6 hours away. So we left there at 6 in the morning to get there for around 12, but with pit stops and eating breakfast and lunch, it took more like 7.5, 8 hours altogether. So we didn't get there till around 2, but anyway, I don't want to get into that yet. I actually want to talk about the night before, before we even left. Oh, and don't mind my gameplay right here. I had no idea what I was doing. I kind of wasn't sure how to get the eggs, but anyway. So, the night before, as I said, I had to stay over at my friend's house before we left, because we were leaving early. So, my friend, my friend and I, we shared, a bed to, just for that night. And my other friend, went into a different room to go to sleep. And my friends and I, who were sleeping in the same room, we could not fall asleep. We were probably up, well, I was up until about 3 in the morning. 3:30 in the morning, because we both couldn't sleep. We were on a computer playing, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the game Territory War. But yeah. You know, it's gonna get kind of confusing when I say this friend, that friend, my friend, yada yada, because there was a lot of people. So I'm just gonna call them by their names, and I hope they don't mind. So it was, yeah, my friend Erica and I, we were sharing, we were in my friend Kate's room to, you know, to sleep there for that night before we left, and we couldn't sleep, and we were up pretty much all night. And I probably got about an hour and a half of sleep. My friend Erica, she told me that she literally, like, just fell asleep, and then Kate came into the room to wake us up. So, needless to say, we were both really tired. The car ride down was, like, it's a car ride, what do you expect? But, you know, like, we watched a movie on the way down. It was real good. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Monty Python and the Holy Grail. It's a funny movie. I like it. Yeah. And so that was the first thing that happened, and we weren't even at the house yet. Like, we didn't even go on the vacation yet, and we were already like, oh man. So after about like 8 hours of being in a car and stopping for food, we finally get there, and it was a nice place. I mean, there were a lot more trees than I expected. When Kate said farmhouse, I kind of expected like open land, and I know she told me that there weren't like animals there, so like farm animals, so I wasn't expecting that. But I kind of was expecting open land, which there was some, but a lot of it was trees, and we were up in the mountains too, so, like, yeah. I guess it couldn't be too flat land if it was up in the mountains, but anyway, so, yeah, it was really nice. The house had, like, let me think, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bedrooms, I think. I had to, like, picture the house in my head. But, yeah, it was a nice house. It had that old, like, that old smell to it, because it's an old house. I mean, there's lights in it and stuff, but, you know, it was built a while ago. So yeah, that's the house is up. Yeah, it was, like, in the very hilly part of New York. Like, you know, not like New York City, like, where everybody's... No, it was, like, in the middle of nowhere, so, yeah. New York isn't all cities and stuff. And if you live in New York, then you guys would know. What else? Let's see. We did, like, we had stuff planned. Most people would be like, oh, how can you, like, not go without technology for that long? Like, that's what my brother was saying to me, and I'm like, it's not that bad. We had stuff planned out. We went, most of the time, we went swimming in a river. It wasn't like a strong river. It was very calm. It had a current, but it was very, very calm. You could swim in it without being taken, like, 10 miles. And it was, I mean, an interesting experience. The water was really cold. Really cold. When we first got to the river, like, I think it was like the second day, and I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna wait to get in, because I didn't want to go into the water because it was like really cold, and I was like, I don't wanna go in yet. So, Erica, she grabs my arm. Shut up, phone. She grabs my arm and literally, like, drags me into the river, and I'm just like, no, 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 no. It was so cold. I was like, I couldn't feel my toes. And at the river, they had, there was spring water. There was, like, how do I explain it? The water, like, it came right from underground, and it came out of some, like, pipes that were straight from the ground, from the springs. And the water poured out into the river. And it was at a spot where, like, you could literally put a cup up to this flowing, like, the spring water. It was like a little, very, very tiny, I wouldn't even want to say waterfall, but it was in a way where you could put a cup up to it and fill it up with spring water and just drink it right there. Probably the best water I've ever had. The best water. It was even more like, you know, like the spring water that you get in water bottles? It was better than that. Oh my god. I wish I could have it again. So good. And there were two different rivers that we went to. One of them, like, there was nothing there. It was just the river and the springs, and that was that. And the other one was more like a campground. So you had to you had to pay to get in there. But the campground one was more fun because there were rocks where you could jump off the rocks and be able to go into deeper water. So, like, it was fun. If you walked in there without, like, anything on your feet, like, we wore water shoes most of the time because it's like you could be, like, swimming one moment and next thing you know you might be stepping on a ton of rocks and you're just like, ow! I don't want to be stepping on them. But at the campground, I usually took off my water shoes because there was this one rock that if you stood on it, it was really smooth, but it was really slippery too because it had, like, algae and stuff, like, really, like, not like the tall algae that's, like, flowing around and stuff. It's, like, really, really short algae, and if you tried to walk on it, you can, like, slip and stuff. So all of us, meaning me and Kate and Erica and Kate's brother and his friend, we were all standing on the rock and we were all, like, pushing each other off and slipping, and I'm surprised nobody got hurt. But nobody got hurt, so it was all good. And that was really fun. There were these drunk guys on there the first day we went to the campground river, and they were just, like, they were chanting random things, and they were drinking beer from wiffle ball bats. I was just like, you guys are strange. Like, yeah, whatever. I don't know. It was funny they were just, like, shouting random things and having a good time, and I'm just like, okay. So that was kind of entertaining. We also, sometimes we went rock hopping. So there was like a creek right about near the house that would pretty much flow all the way down the mountain, and we would hop along the rocks and try not to get wet. Try not to get your feet into the water. And might I add, that was very interesting. It was, you know, like it's like, what's those games? There was this one game that we played like in elementary school. Oh, it was like Mission Impossible, where you put down certain things on the gym floor and those are the only things you can step on. Yeah, it's kind of like that, but in like with rocks and water, and you can't fall into the water. And if you fall, you might get hurt. So it was pretty interesting. I had my camera with me, so I was trying to not fall, because if I fell, I knew I was going to ruin my camera. And yes, I know, cameras technically are a piece of technology, but I wanted to take pictures, and my phone downstairs was like, yeah, that's from Seattle. I don't live anywhere near there. I live in Pennsylvania. I don't know. Whatever. But, yeah. So, yeah, rock hopping. Interesting thing. Let's see. How much time? I got like eight minutes left or so. I don't know. I'm probably gonna, some of this is probably gonna have to go into the next episode too. But, let's see. Oh, we would, to go up, there was a pond nearby where we would go, like, we would just take a canoe and just, you know, go out there and just kind of canoe in circles. But to get to the pond, instead of walking all the way there, which it's in walking distance from the house, but it's like walking there is downhill, walking back is uphill, and it's kind of a pain in the ass. So Kate's dad had a really old Jeep, and I'm pretty sure it was even before they were called Jeeps. I don't know what they were called, but this thing was from 1949. Yeah, that is really old, and it was still running. Not well, but it was still running. And obviously it's not registered for being able to be driven on the road. Pretty much everything that showed how much, like, the speedometer, and that was all broken. Like, you could still go. I think the thing only went like 25 miles per hour, but it was like, the speedometer was busted. You couldn't see how fast you were going. But yeah, it was really cool to ride in that thing. We would try to like shove everybody in that small Jeep and go to the pond and fly kites and go canoeing and look for frogs. All the animals you could see there, they were so... I saw so many newts, like little orange newt things. They're so cute. I wanted to keep one. I was like, I really want one as a pet. But you know, you can't really just take them out of the wild like that. Tons of frogs, toads, chipmunks, deer. There were porcupines there. We never saw any. And what other animals? Oh, this is gonna lead into a really cool story. There are wild dogs out there somewhere. We don't know where, but they come out at night. And oh my gosh. So one of the nights we went outside, right outside the house, and because we were gonna look at the stars, but the moon was so bright that you couldn't really see the stars that well. But anyway, this one night where the moon wasn't really out, like, it wasn't as bright, we went out to go see if we could see any stars. And we could see a couple more than before, but yeah. Anyway, oh, hang on, interrupting my own thought. This whole part up right here, this this level. I waste so much time in here because I don't even know what I'm doing. But yeah. So, anyway, back to the story. So we went outside the house, and Kate's brother stood at the, like, right by the door. And he looked out, and he let out a huge, like, a really loud howl. And the first time, just to see if, like, the wild dogs would, like, bark back or howl back. The first time, nothing happened. The second time, nothing happened. But the third time, oh my god. The dogs went absolutely crazy. They were, like, yipping and barking and howling, and we guessed that maybe they found like a deer or something and they were like killing it, but oh my god. It was so cool. I was like freaking out in a good way, not a bad way. Like I was like, oh my god, that is so cool. And, oh man, I wish I could hear it again. As weird as that sounds. But yeah, those were the wolves that I heard. So luckily we didn't see any wolves, but they were definitely out there. We did see a bear cub. We were in the car. So it's not like we were in any danger. But we saw a bear cub cross the street when we were gonna go hiking. And it was so cute. It's a little black bear cub. Cute thing. But yeah. And that was that. I talked about that. I'm like crossing things off this list. I also saw some snakes too. But not anything poisonous. We went to this restaurant and one day, and we got there, I was like, oh, this looks like a nice restaurant, and like, here the restaurant's on my left. I turned to the right, and up the mountain, there were like 15 cows, and I was like, oh. So like, we all know that the meat that they use for their burgers is fresh. Very, very fresh. But in a way that's good, because like it's coming from a good place. Oh my god. The dog out there is barking really loud. Our neighbors have a chihuahua. I want to kick that thing sometimes. No, I'm just kidding. I don't want to kick it. So this is just about wrapping up soon. And I think I can get in one more thing. There was a pub nearby where the house was, and they had like billiards in there. They also had a Miss Pac-Man machine in there, like the Miss Pac-Man. It was, I really like that game, and well, okay, I don't know if I should say I'm really good. I can get up to like usually at least past like the first 4 levels, but yeah, whatever. It's a cool game, especially for like the time period it was made. It has actually been, I think it's actually been proven that Miss Pac-Man, although made after the regular Pac-Man games, that Miss Pac-Man is more popular than Pac-Man. Alright, so I guess that's just about gonna wrap it up for now, and I hope this worked out really well, and so yeah, I will see you guys next time. Bye!